Chapter 5, Cabin 1.
At the foot of an evergreen mountain that provided a pleasant shade during that hellish July, lined up in rows on a large gravel area in front of the entrance to the camp, I had to patiently listen to the given information. I was 17 years old, standing among my peers, trying to avoid everyone's gaze and control the tremor that was walking up and down my body. I rarely left my family compound and didn't have friends my age. Now I will read your cabin number, where you will be staying. After all your names are read, please take your baggage and proceed to the cabin you are assigned to. One of the professors will be there to explain the rules and schedule in more detail, said a guy standing on a simple wooden platform, holding a list in his hand. I focused hard while he was calling out, and with every name read, I got a mini heart attack. I thought I would go crazy. Inner. Cabin 1. Finally, he read it. I repeated it in my mind dozens of times so I wouldn't forget. When the roll call was done, I went to get my bags, as did others, scrambling to get their belongings. Everything around me was a blur, and that made me realize I was shy and introverted. Why is this so stressful? This was a first for me, and my brain wasn't prepared for unfamiliar surroundings. I waited for the crowd to thin out before I took my backpack and a bigger bag that went over my shoulder. A gravel path was winding in front of me, with all the cabins scattered in the middle of the sparse forest. It took me less than 5 minutes to see a cabin with number 1 above its door. The other cabins were close, but not close enough that you could hear their conversation. I'd estimate it was about 6 meters wide and had a few meters more in depth. In my eyes, it was quite small for what I expected. There was already a group of people waiting in front, so I joined them. "Look around yourselves," yelled a middle-aged man with a thick beard. I recognize him. His brother and mother were working with my family at that time, so I sometimes caught sight of them. I got the impression that they were a genuine and nice family, so I was happy our cabin got him. He was Jared Methuselah, and we were put under his care. Team Cabin 1. You will be roommates for the next 6 to 8 months, Professor Jared said, standing on the steps. Any excessive arguing or fights will not be tolerated. Here we are all the same, and you must treat each other accordingly. Don't forget that. Leave your family pride behind, or you will get in trouble. As you already know, revealing your family information is strictly forbidden. You will find your schedule in the cabin. Be sure to be at breakfast tomorrow at 9 a.m. In short, he gave us instructions and left. I'm sure the next months were hell for him because we were a weird bunch. One by one, my group was going inside, and I couldn't move. I despised the thought of having to share one space with so many people. I was used to having a room and bathroom to myself. It should be a private space, where you can relax, recharge, and do the businesses in peace. A tap greeted my shoulder. "Hi," a smooth girl's voice rang in my ear. To my surprise, a girl taller than me was standing to my left. I thought everyone had already gone inside. Normally, I was very aware of my surroundings, but her presence was almost non-existent. "Sorry if I startled you. My name is Mai. I'm also in cabin 1, she said, holding a medium-sized sports bag, squinting her dark eyes. It's okay. I was zoning out. My name is Inna, I said, staring at her. I have a model in my cabin. Do you remember what time breakfast is? She asked in her matching grey sweatsuit with sunglasses hanging on her wide, open-zip collar. I came a bit too late. You look a bit too old to be here. Think before you say, because I was a hopeless idiot. Compared to the other girls at the camp, her maturity was striking. That same day, I learned she was only 6 months older than me, but she had already developed into a young woman, and I was a childish mess. She laughed. I get that a lot. I'm just tall. It wasn't only her height, everything else was there, too. She had nice breasts and a great butt, while I was still flat-chested and skinny. Suddenly, I became more self-conscious, but at least I convinced myself that I would look young compared to her later, which unfortunately turned out to be incorrect. Oh, yes, that must be it, I shyly agreed, keeping my thoughts to myself. Breakfast? I'm not sure. I think it's around 9. Oh, that's quite late, she looked surprised. You mean early? I corrected her. It felt like my brain was dead, I couldn't think straight. I was both lost and intimidated by the situation and by her. No. We both looked at each other, narrowing our eyes in confusion. When do you usually wake up? Me. Depends, I said, shrugging my shoulders. I usually woke up whenever I wanted. But I couldn't admit it. I was worried she would look down on me and think I was lazy. Shall we? She asked, her hand pointing the way. Do you need help with bags? Nah, not a problem at all, I said while picking up my things. When I looked up, she was already a few meters away. Why did she even ask if she didn't plan to help anyway? I was getting a bit smelly, and the mosquitoes were feasting on me. I stayed in the shade as much as possible, but after the whole day, sweat was seeping out all over, and where my skin was exposed, redness was starting to show. All of it was just part of the magic of youth and those experiences you only have once. The aroma of that forest, the rustle of that dusty path, and the moments with my friends are something I'll carry with me throughout my life. More than anything else during that camp, I matured as a young woman and learned to socialize. I climbed 4 steps to get to the porch that extended at the front of the cabin. When I looked inside, an unpleasant feeling overwhelmed me. There is no private space at all. All the beds were lined up next to each other, and there was one large wardrobe at the back of the room with sections labeled with our names. One small toilet and shower were on the lower left side of the cabin, which meant no privacy. I was searching for my bed when I heard a tall girl's voice. You are here, she said, and pointed to the bed next to hers. I was on the left side, almost at the entrance door, first in the row. I can't believe they put boys and girls together. This will be a disaster, one of the girls said so everyone could hear. There were 3 boys and 4 girls in the cabin. I didn't think they would mix us. We were not kids anymore, but I didn't mind because I got along well with the guys. We are not delighted either, the boy with dark skin tone responded. Maybe you are not, but I am, the other boy added, smiling from ear to ear. You see, this is what I'm talking about. So annoying, she continued to show her dissatisfaction, talking to the girl next to her. I sat at the edge of my bed, happy that I was not in the middle of all that. I looked to my left and saw my bed neighbor kneeling on the wooden floor unpacking her bags, not being bothered by the conversation in the room. I already forgot her name. I wasn't sure what to do or where to start. Should I say something? Introduce myself or mind my own business like her? After all that thinking, I remained sitting on my bed, digging through my backpack for some imaginary item that had gotten deeply stuck somewhere in there. Most of them unpacked quickly, and the girl who always had something to complain about asked, "What are we supposed to do the whole day? It's only 4 p.m. With the corner of my eye, I saw our cabin model walk out the door. I instinctively followed her, but first, I checked her bed tag to remind myself what her name was. I ran a bit to catch up with her, my first camp friend, Mai. Where are you going? I asked, following her like a puppy. For a walk. Do you want to join me? I can't listen to them anymore. I need fresh air. She smiled, saying, then take a walk with your old roommate. I didn't say you were old. Come on. It's just that your body seems more mature, I said, drawing indefinite shapes in the air with my hands. A smooth escaped her lips as her eyebrows lowered and her nose creased. I mean it as a compliment. You know what I mean, I said, diverting my gaze. I could feel my blood pressure rising, and my ears getting hot. For a moment, I thought I had a fever. I better zip up my sweatshirt then, she said, pulling up the zipper and cutting off my view. Despite wearing an undershirt, her neckline was fairly deep, although not excessively so. Either way, it was enough to make me question my sanity. Why? You don't have to. I mean, I don't care. Do as you wish, I shrugged, trying to hide how flustered I was. These feelings were foreign to me, and I was unsure how to express them. I didn't want to appear odd or impolite. What did you mean when you mentioned my body? She slightly tilted her head. I'm not sure if I understood you. Me? What did I mean? I frowned, pretending to think. I wish she would just move past what I had said. A sly little smile played on her lips. She clearly enjoyed watching me fumble over such a silly thing. There was something about that girl that I couldn't quite explain at that moment. Lacking experience with people in general and being raised in a small circle caused problems I had never thought about before. While I was contemplating life and my shortcomings, our feet stepped through egg-shaped pebbles, which made our footing unstable going downhill. For a split second, I slipped, my body losing its balance, and my hand grabbed anything it could. It just happened to be Mai's collar, sending her sunglasses flying. Without a word, red like a tomato, I picked them up, planning to apologize, but when our eyes met, I fell silent. I closed my zipper. Why are you still looking? Mai asked me. My eyes betrayed me completely. They wandered off in the wrong direction, just like the first time. No wonder she closed her zipper. Oh, I'm not a perv. I didn't even think of that. You have an undershirt. I panicked, entering defense mode. Carefully, I rubbed the glasses with the edge of my shirt, lifting the lenses toward the sun. They are not damaged. I think you can leave your zipper open. It's totally fine. I handed her the glasses, but her hands didn't move. It took me a while to realize she wanted me to put them back where they were. I hooked her glasses back onto the edge of her shirt while her eyes followed my hand movement. I wish I had one like that, the sweatshirt, even though it's so hot. How are you surviving in that? I was officially overheating for the first time in my life. She casually remarked, I think I will leave it closed, maintaining a cool and collected attitude, once again enjoying my exaggerated reaction. I didn't quite get what sexy meant at that time, but Mai showed me clearly, without doing anything in particular. Even her walk was different, and I never understood how she did it. Some people are just born with that certain something. I turned and continued walking, acting as if everything was fine. Yeah, maybe that's better. Boys can be creepy, I blamed them, while I was no better. I waited for her to catch up with me, but soon I had to speed up my steps to keep up with hers. The flush on my face slowly subsided, my thoughts became clearer, and we were able to have a pleasant chat. When we came back, 2 hours later, the cabin was empty, and we decided to unpack what was left of our stuff. Her breath revealed that she was silently laughing to herself. Why are you smiling? I asked, putting my clothes in the cabinet next to hers. Did I do something? She didn't answer, nor did she turn her head when I asked her something. Where are her manners? I was used to being treated like royalty, seriously and with respect. But this girl laughed more the more I asked. My blood pressure skyrocketed, so I went to the dining hall, whose location was pinpointed on the map that hung in our cabin. It was not far, perhaps a 5-minute walk. What's wrong with her? Is she a bit crazy? Unstable? I guess you can't have good looks and brains, I thought on my way there. She was starting to get on my nerves. It felt like she was underestimating and making fun of me, but in reality, I was insecure. I acted differently around her. I lost my composure, and it annoyed me.
July 12th, Year 311, The Mount of Olymp, Youth Camp. Team Cabin 1 isn't what I had hoped for, but they have their own qualities.